Hello, everybody. Welcome to the sound test room. This evening, we are taking a look at DigiKeys. Yes. I'm just going to get on my stream. Hope you've all had a nice day today. Let's see. Okay. So, yes, DigiKeys from 4Pockets. It's a pattern-based MIDI sequencer sort of thing. So let's see who's here. I guess Paul the musician's here. Hi, Paul. Steven's here. Marcus is here. Andrew's here. Joshua's here. Chris Wilson's here. There's Three Stigs here. Hi, Three Stig. And Powell's here as well. Okay. So let's see. I'm just gonna load a track. I'm gonna load song testing 2. Testing. You'll see I constructed a little song here. We'll start at the beginning. While we're waiting for the few people to arrange, I shall play you my little song like this that I put together today. In DigiKeys, we're going to go to Panama. So anyway, here we go. So basically all it does then is I just put the patterns in going and descending so from 6/5/4 and then 3/2/1 finishes at 1. I'll go it through song mode properly so you can see how all that works. Okay, so let us choose a blank. Yes. Load song. Load song. We want new song, don't we? Load song. Now, as soon as it asks you this, you can choose local or MIDI, which means that you can have DigiKeys play external instruments. This works great as an AUv3, by the way, which is fantastic. So we'll take a look at that as well, a quick look at that. But you'll get how that works immediately. So you can either choose to have it play the local instruments, the ones that are included inside DigiKeys, which is what we'll be mainly focusing on since this is a tutorial for the app, or MIDI, which ignores the local sounds, the sounds interior to DigiKeys, and plays exterior synths you have, or both, which you can do a mixture of both, which is the best way. Okay, so let's go new song, but just let's use local, and let's go call this testing number 6, because this is probably about the 6th one I've been messing with. So here we go. You have here It starts, the default is a drum kit, and that is pattern 1. You do not have to have this on a drum kit. You can select any instrument from the internal instruments. And if you have Chameleon installed and you've got your own sounds in there, you can go to Chameleon button here and you can use any of the Chameleon sounds. Now I have Chameleon, however, I have never programmed anything in Chameleon of my own. So it's exactly the same as the internal sounds inside DigiKeys. But if you've got other sounds inside Chameleon, it's super simple to use them as local sounds. Okay, so we'll just leave that there. We'll leave this on this classic electronic kit. Okay, so what if we look at this at drums, we've got different kits there, chill kit, distorted kit. It doesn't really matter. All we need to do, right, we've got we can have length, we can have up to 32 steps in this version. I think Paul may be increasing that, but in this version we have up to 32 steps, which is 2 bars. So to enter patterns in, it's really very easy. We just, sorry, we don't need that one there. We can just enter notes like this, and at the moment you'll see the length here is 16 steps. This is pattern 1, track 1. We have 256 patterns, 256 patterns in a chain we could put together with 16 tracks, individual tracks. So for instance, this would be pattern 1, track 1, and it would be our kick drum there. Now it defaults to, let me just explain with this drum kit. The velocity will default to about 64. If you wanted to increase the volume of each individual drum, let's put some snare in, I suppose. And let's also put some clap in. And some closed hi-hats here. The default velocity for these will be around 64. However, if you look down here where it says edit mode, you'll see it says horizontal, and that's on paints. Vertical is on velocity. So if we hold a note, any of these nodes, let me do it with my mouse pointer. So let's hold this first snare drum here, and you'll see it says 64. Oh, well, you might not see it, but it says 64. We can hold that and drag that velocity up to maximum. And this one. And let's drag the bass kick drums up a little bit as well. Okay. So that's how you adjust your velocity. If you also tap on this, you'll get different ways you can control a beat. You have probability, sub beats, and reverse. So let's go for this one with sub beats. Okay, so let's hit sub beats now, and you'll see that on every single one of these, well, I hope you can see, but trust me, it says on every single one of these, it says off. So let's put some sub beats on this first hi-hat. Okay. And let's go back to velocity and turn the velocity up for all of those all of those hi-hats. Now to turn the velocity up for everything the same, you just need to hold on to where it says in the track, in the like grid view header where it says closed hat. Just hold, and you can adjust the universal velocity for that particular track. Can you hear that? Can you hear that get like ratcheting now? So let's go back to where it says sub beats, and you can see it says 3. Let's switch that one off, and let's extend this one. And let's put some sub beats on this last snare. I don't like the velocity on that snare, so we can go back to velocity for the snare. sorry, for the snare. Cool beans. Okay. So now you know how to adjust the velocity per individual step or per the actual sort of whole thing, or like all the closed hats or. That sort of thing. Yes, yes. Okay. Okay, let's stop this now. So let's have a look at some of the other things. So you've got paint, drum rolls, erase, and run. Okay, so mostly it will be in paint. You could have it in paint. So if we use paint on the tom row, you'll see we'll just get one note and then it will expand as we drag like this. You will also notice that the velocity is now available as well. It's got a little 64 in there, but if we sort of drag up or down like this, you'll see we can set the velocity as we drag the note. This is really more useful for synth notes and stuff like that, instruments and things. What we really want to be looking at is drum rolls like this. When we put it into drum roll mode, what we can do is draw it like this. Let's do this with the high tom. Let's stop this. If we're in drum roll mode here and we do this. Oh, hang on a minute. Where's that then? Look. Wait a sec. Oh my God. Drum rolls. Shall I be in run? Velocity. There we go. Just delete that. So high tom, and we're in drum rolls. Right. So we hold on our tom now, and then we hold. We can drag out like varying beats like this. But what's nice here is that we can drag the velocity as well. So we could create a velocity ramp by doing this. Let's get rid of this. We can go to velocity and then we can go, let's go to our probability and change that to a razor and a horizontal line. So let's just drag that back and erase all those. Let's go back to drum rolls. And now what we can do is hold. And if we hold and drag up, we'll create a velocity ramp. So let's go all the way down and then all the way up. You'll see it's changed color. So now we'll have a velocity ramp on that high tom. And of course, you can take these notes out at any time you like and, you know, rearrange your pattern. And you can even, as long as you're on velocity and in the vertical section, you can still like say, oh, well, I'd rather have that one 127. I'll have that one really quiet sort of thing. So yeah. And then you can go into say, well, okay, that's cool beans, but I want some sub beats now, sub beats on these. And you'll notice when you hit sub beats, it'll bring up the screen. We know we've got 3 on our closed hat. We've got 4 on our snare here, but we haven't got any of our toms, so we could put some on our toms. Well, let's put 3 on that tom, and let's put 8. We can have up to 8. Now, 8 is going to be really, really, really fast. So we're going to be like this. And of course, extending it, let's switch some of these off. Extending it will produce those sub beats over the entire 4 beats, like 4 steps or 5 steps or whatever. We'll do it over 4. So now we've got our, oops, take that there, take that out there, and increase that to 4. So now we get this effect. Which is very nice. Okay. what's also nice with the actual drums as well is there's a reverse option as well. Now all these edit modes are available for your synths as well, which I'll show you and all. But for the reverse option is really cool beans. Okay, so here we go. Let's take, for instance, let's draw in a few of these notes. Actually, let me just erase these as well, because I don't want them like that. So a quick erase of them like this. And then let's go with paint and let's place in a few of these. I'm going to put in a reverse for this as well, but I'm going to place a few of these in like this. And you'll see that it says, you might not be able to see actually, but I'm trying my best. It says there's a little F now appeared, which indicates that your sample or your actual step, your 16 steps, that is now going forward. If we hold and just push up sort of thing, now we've got some reverses. We can reverse any of them like this. Bins like that, so now we're going to get some reverses as well as our subdivisions and our different velocities and stuff, which is lovely for beats and things. And last but not least here is the probability controls. Let's change that to probability. You'll see the probability is all switched off. But for all of these, the initial default will be off, and then you can do it on a per step basis sort of thing. So let's choose a probability of, let's put loads of bass drums in here, okay, in the first part of this pattern. So it's going to be sort of thing like this. Let's increase the velocity. And let's also erase some other stuff now. So what you're hearing now, let me just reduce the velocity for all of these. So now you're hearing all these bass drum hits. Let's go to probability and let's increase the probability on a few of these. So put it back in actually, hang on. I'm in a raise mode. You got to be careful that you're in the right mode, right? So now we've set different probabilities, velocities for the kick drum. Which is nice. Okay, so let's go to eraser. Let's erase everything in this pattern. Let's go back to velocity and also paint. And let's just quickly put in a quick, let's choose a different drum kit as well, just for fun. Let's choose the distorted kit. Oh, hell's teeth. Let's choose the EDM kit. So let's put in some drums here, drums. Let's put in a 4 on the floor. Let's put some snare in there like before. Let's draw in some hats. Okay. Cool. We're on 16 steps. Okay. Let's say we want to have our 2 bars. So if we look in here where it says show range, 32, 17 to 32 is obviously going to be empty. I've just recorded those 4 bars. Now I could, if I wanted to, set this to 32 here like this. That's where you set the length. And then go 17 to 32 and draw them all in. Okay, so there's an easier way to do that if you just want to copy these over to your next, like 17 to 32 steps in this one pattern for the drums. And all you need to do is look at pattern, go copy 17 to 32, paste, and yes, and it's pasted in our pattern. So now we've got 32 steps. So we need to really want to hear some difference here. So let's put some toms in, random toms and things, and a bit of tambourine and ride in the 17 to 32 range. And in the 1 to 16, let's put a bit of shaker in like this. Let's have a listen. Okay, so that's how you do that. Okay, so let's see now. Let's say we want to speed that up and slow down. Now this takes a little bit of explaining the speed. If we open speed here, we can go half speed, quarter speed, or 1/8 speed, and this will in effect kind of give you more bars to play with. It doesn't really. It's still 32 steps at the moment, but you're actually slowing it down. So if you've got an original kick drum at something like normal speed, and then you run another drum kit on another track, you could kind of extend it to, instead of having it 4 bars, you could have it to, instead of having it being 2 bars at normal speed, you could set the second drum kit to run at like half speed, and then you get kind of a 4-bar effect. But bearing in mind that will affect the whole track, the whole pattern sort of thing for all the instruments. Anyway, you'll know what I mean. Anyway, let's see. Okay, so let's see what happens when we do this. So let's play. So let's slow that down. We go even slower. You can see it counting along. And you can go even slower. I'm just reconnecting now. Is it back? Am I back? I'm back. Sorry about that. Can't up the buffers. Okay, back now. Yes. Okay, super duper. Okay, so you get that. So let's say we want to start to now to maybe expand this a little bit. Okay, so we want some instruments now. So this is a track. Okay, we're gonna stick with pattern 1, and we're gonna select track 2. Now track 2 defaults to virtual virus playing bass here, but we can choose different. Let's choose that one for now. You can choose any instrument you want. Let's look at the keys and the scales, because this is handy. You choose your key and your scale here. Okay, so you can enter notes via MIDI, but since this is really a pattern-based sequence, it's actually a lot more fun just entering it into the grid. And this isn't how I normally work, and I really enjoyed myself today, just sitting downstairs with the iPad in my lap, just entering all this stuff by hand. So, you know, I think MIDI is exportable 3-stick, not importable, but you can export the MIDI, I think, but Paul's here. I'm sure he'll answer that question for you. So here we go. Look, we're in C. So I'm going to choose my favorite, A. And I'm going to choose A minor. Now, you'll notice that some of these will change now to represent the A minor. So now we're in A minor, okay? Cool beans. Let's enter a few notes, right? So let's enter some. Well, let's play it so we can hear what we're entering. We'll hear our drums, obviously. And we'll go to pattern 17 to 32. So we've got a drum pattern, we've got a little bass line, and this is all on pattern 1. Let's make another pattern. Now, here we go. This is important for now because Paul's going to put a little note in for this on the next update. If you want to copy 1 to 32, or you copy both your bars, make sure that before you go with the pattern copy function, you make sure that 1 to 16 is selected, okay? And then you've got pattern here, not track, pattern. We're copying the entire pattern now, so we're copying the drums and the bass and whatever may be already in there. So pattern, make sure that 1 to 16 is selected. Hit copy, pattern copied. Go here to pattern 2, paste. Are you sure? Yes. Right now, and I think Paul's also sorting this out in the next thing as well. At the moment, what will happen is it will only play the one bar. Watch, listen. See? But you're thinking, hey, but I recorded 2 bars. I recorded 2. That's okay. Hit where it says 32 steps length. Hit that again, and hit the 32 again. Okay. And then you'll have both your bars back. Okay, so now let's go to another track, track 3. Now, you can start to mix anytime you want. This is dead obvious stuff, right? You can mix, you can do stuff. We'll take a look at the mixer as well if we get time, but really I want to be making sure you know how the sequencer works. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to apply some randomization, but we're going to make sure that it sticks to what we want. Because at the moment, if I hit randomization, it isn't now. Although all notes are going to be now. Let's see what sound we've got here. So this is the M3 bell pad. We could change that sound, but let's leave it at that for now, for what it is for the tutorial. We're on 1 to 16. That's fine. Our length is 32. If I randomize now, it's going to randomize the whole grid with various notes, but they will, of course, all stay with the key of A minor. It's randomized like this. We can choose whether the pattern complexity is low, medium, or high. We can choose what notes to include. We can choose selected chord notes or select all notes. If we randomize without doing anything, it's going to randomize like this. So it's going to put notes wherever it wants to, basically. Sounds a bit chaotic. So pattern, clear, yes. And it probably didn't put any in there, so that's good. Well, we've cleared the whole lot anyway. But let's make this a little bit more controlled. What we can do is where it says all notes here, we can tap on that, and we can choose to just show the notes in the chord. Okay, the chord. Oh, should I? Have I cleared my whole thing? Yes, I have. Don't worry. Don't worry. That's not a problem. We can go back to pattern 1 here, and there This is super simple. Yeah, you're right. I'll just copy that again because I cleared out the whole track, the whole pattern, not the track. I only want to clear out the track. Excuse me. Okay, so it's good actually. So you get to see it done again. Okay, so we're going to copy the entire pattern. Copy. We're going to go to pattern 2. We're going to paste. Yes. We're going to hit our 32 steps, hit 32, and now we should theoretically have our and we can do auto, which will follow the pattern. Okay. So we're going to go to track 3 again, which was our bell pad. And just to show this again, we can randomize like this. We'll just close that, and it's randomized. It's randomized all over the place. We want to be clear in the track only, so clear, yes, and it will just clear the track, and that will make sure that we're left with our other stuff. There you go. Right now. Yes, we're hearing only the included sounds at the moment, just the included sounds. So where it says all notes, make sure your key and the scale is whatever you want. Where it says all notes, we can tap on this, and we're in A minor, so hit A minor, and what it'll do, it will only show the notes here highlighted in the chord of A minor. And when we randomize now, let's see. Where it says select chord notes, go okay, and then we can go randomize, I guess, and then close, and it will only place random notes inside the area where the chord notes are, so it's a lot more controlled. And of course, anytime we want, we can change out a sound. Be a bit loud, so we can go mix it down. Okay, and so on and so forth. You can build up to 16 instrument tracks. Okay, now we can transpose as well, but this becomes more logical when we start to do we build a song. So let's take a look at song mode, shall we? So you kind of know how the sequence is. I will show you as well effects, the effects out button here. This is a way that you can set each individual track, each individual sound, whether it's MIDI out and local. Now this will send information to another synth, plus play its own synth, or just send the information to another synth and not this one. But we can look at that in AUv3 mode as well. But this is also where it says effects, and it's effects and the output. This is where you can set your delay send and reverb send and chorus send. DigiKeys has a basic reverb and a basic delay built in. The flanger by default is not enabled. You'd need to switch it on. The flanger is very basic, has 4 settings, but you have some control over the reverb, and you also have some control over the left and right delay channels as well. So that's nice to have. But again, if you're using this in AUM or something, you know, you're really good to go with it, adding whatever effects and stuff you want, you know. Anyway. Let's go to load song. Now, I'm going to go to my original one because that was the one that had the most stuff going on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear all these. I'll just clear all. Yes, clear all. Thank you. Now we've got no songs in the pattern at all, but we do have 6 patterns. I think it's 6 patterns. 6 patterns that we can use. Okay, so now you're going to get a good idea of how this actually works in song mode as well. Right, hang on a sec. Just let me refresh this. Okay. So let's go all the way down here. You'll see that we can have loop mode, song mode. If song mode isn't highlighted, it will literally just play the pattern that you're on. So I think I've got stuff in pattern 6. Yeah, I have. We can just play that just to make sure. Okay, so that's pattern 6 of whatever it is. It doesn't matter where it is up there, by the way. It doesn't matter where it is, you know, what pattern you're on here. Once you go into song mode, the choice is yours, you know. So let's go into song mode now. And you've got add pattern, insert, replace empty, then remove, delete, clear, and clear all, remove pattern, transpose. Transpose is great fun, right? This is cool beans. This is where you can make, you know, it sound, you do less work in the program and more work in the actual song chain section. To add a pattern, all you need to do to song chain number 1, okay, and you have 256 of these. You can chain together 256 blocks here. Okay, so but it's very clever, this is, and I'll get into the cleverness of it as we go. Let's add a pattern. So we go add, and it is our 24 patterns. Okay, so we can add, say, pattern 1. Well, it's already highlighted on pattern 1, so we'll add pattern 1. Shall we? So just tap on pattern 1 and you'll see it adds it there, and you'll see underneath there's a ×2. It's ×2 because of whatever I had it set on earlier. But if we go to step options here and open step options, you'll see we've got track mutes and track repeats. Where it says track repeats, you can highlight track 1 and it'll change it, you see, or we can have it on 4. And just underneath that 0 1, it now says ×4. So ×2. We'll leave it on ×2. And let's add another one now. And it will just automatically add it to the next song block. So I'm going to have my first pattern, which is just those hi-hats. That's going to be playing twice. So over basically 4 bars before it changes. So let's add track 2. And let's all, but it's already set on ×2 because this is set on ×2. But we could change it to ×1, but we'd need to do this, hit step option, because it doesn't change like that. Let's go to add. All right, I want that on ×2. I'm going to go back to ×2 for that. And then add pattern 3, and that's on ×2, so that's fine. Everything's on ×2, so it's fine. But you can have it on any times you want. And then we'll add pattern 4. And then we'll add pattern 5. And now we'll add pattern 6. And pattern 6 is the one with the lead thing in it. With the lead. So I want that playing twice. And then I'm going to add pattern 6 again. Right? And that's going to play twice. But you see at the bottom it says 0 and it says A. 8. That's A to A. Well, I'm going to transpose that from, because that's the key, I'm going to transpose that from A to C, and let's change that from A to C. And then on the next one, I'm going to add pattern 5. Then I'm going to add another pattern 5, and I'm also going to change that from, transpose that from A to C. So it's going to go from, oh, look what I've done now. Let me clear that out. Remove pattern, delete it. Yeah, I'm going to add number 5 again, and I'm going to have that transposed from A to C. You can have it transposed from anything if you want to. You know, you can have it transposed to A to F if you want. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's entirely up to you. It's your song. I'll show you what track mutes do in a minute. That's cool as well. Okay, so we need a track with more stuff going on with that, which is kind of like a way almost just to build one very busy pattern and then build a whole song out of that one pattern by using track mutes. Right, but we'll do that in a sec. So now we're going to get this. So let's go to add, and let's just go to add, go all the way back from 5 to 2. So now what we have is, if we can close that now, we can go back to the beginning of our song, or we can do it via this, like that. And now what we need to do, what I would like to see, Paul, is a play button here, down here in song mode, and save me having to scroll back up here. So here's our song playing now as we've just put it in. Sounds like the professionals. You can see us tracking along here. It's going to play 4 times. Jump to pattern 6. It's going to jump over but transpose to C. Drop down to 5. Now if we hit pause in song mode, it's going to stay on the pattern it's selected, so that then you can go and mess around with it as you please. And you see we're on auto follow, so it's tracking the pattern. Right, if I just, what have I did done? Where did it stop? Why did it stop on me? Oh no. That's bizarre, isn't it? I don't know. Let me see if it'll start again. Yeah. Anyway, you get the point. You can work on the, if you press song pause, you can work on the what's it. Now, let's have a quick look at the track mutes, right? So let's go new song. Let's go load. Oh no, no. Let's load song. Testing number 5 was a thing I had going on. I want it in song mode. Is it in patterns? So or was it? I think I might be in the wrong one. Hang on. You can right. It's because this is because this was saved from, this particular track was saved to AUM. So we've got pattern 1, track number 1, which is this kind of industrial drum kit, and I'm going to put in some closed hi-hats here. I'm just going to draw them in actually. I'm going to change that and draw them in on ranges, all ranges. So we go to, if we go now down here and we go to step options, say for instance we want to chain that pattern. So let's go to song mode now. Let's go add pattern 1. It's the only pattern we've got. So add pattern 1, add pattern 1, add, pattern 1. So we've got 4 patterns, but let's go to this one, right? So we've got our 4 patterns, they're all pattern 1. So they're all going to play exactly the same. Let's go to step options. Let's set that to 1, set this to 1, and set this one to 1. So now this song is going to play, and it's going to play exactly the same thing over 4 bars, or 8 bars basically, because each one is 2 bars long, generally, sort of thing. So let's just play that and see. So it's just going to play. Okay, and we haven't got loop song, so it's just going to stop at the end at pattern 4, pattern 1, part 4. So step options, right? Well, we can mute some tracks now. So we can, let's say if we muted, say, track 2. There's only track 1 and track 2. So theoretically now, pardon me, this should be leaving out the bass, I think. Maybe the drums. And it'll then jump back to our muted track. That won't actually. Let's put it on loop song. Let's start there. So no bass. Bass is in now. Pause. Step options, we can mute the drums for step 3. Unpause. And it'll go back to the one without the bass. And then no drums for 3. So there you go. There's what you can do with your step options. You can set your repeats, you can set your track mutes, all that kind of cool banana stuff. Right. So before we finish, at this point, does anybody want to super chat me in? Feel free. Right. Right. So we're going to have a look at it running in AUM as a kind of finish it off, because it's quite a lot involved in this. So the AUM part is going to be very, very, very sketchy, very quick, but you know what I mean. So let's do this. Let's go like this, and let's open AUM like this, and I have a little session set up, so it's cool with that pattern you just heard. So let's see, files and DigiKeys, DigiStick. So what I did with this one is I have DigiKeys now playing the DigiSticks. You set up make sure host sync is on for this to work. Okay, so for the drums, I went to MIDI out, and you'll see I've got MIDI out for local synth and also MIDI out. Now the MIDI out for MIDI channel 1 is DigiSticks. So we can have a look at that. If I go into this, hey, oh, thanks, Paul. Cheers, Paul. Open this. You'll see that I've changed my, so if we have none on it, it's selected all, defaults to all, hit none, hit channel 1. We're now sending a MIDI from DigiKeys channel 1 to DigiSticks. Okay, do you see what I mean? So DigiSticks is receiving the info from DigiKeys. Oh, thank you, iOS track on. Brilliant. Bless you guys. The ad revenue really drops this time of year, you know what I mean? It doesn't, advertisers don't like paying as much money, or YouTube don't charge them as much money in the January, February, kind of March, April, May months, and it starts to pick up later on in the year, sort of thing. Anyways, But the point is, at the moment, and then you'll see Lagrange here. Now this track, let's turn them two down. This pattern that is playing is the one we've just heard, right? So you recognise that. So it's only 2 tracks. There's that little bass line there, and it's all in C major. Well, it's not in C major. It is in C major. Thought it was in G minor, but there you go. Anyway, let's see. That's pattern 1, and I think there is 2 patterns. So this is pattern 2. And there's all sorts of cool stuff going on. Let's go back to pattern 1. And you'll see that Lagrange is routed to MIDI channel 2, and our bass here, let's do auto. Our bass is on MIDI channel 2, so the track channels they correspond to the MIDI channels, yeah. And so this is channel 2 receiving from the bass channel, and this is channel 1. So that's DigiSticks, and we can blend them together. And then we can swap to pattern 2. And there you go. That's basically it. If you go back and watch at certain points in the video, you'll see that we've covered basically everything there. Everything. It's very cool. And you can do some really nice things. So you can have up to 16 tracks. Obviously, I haven't got time to run a 16-track tutorial, but doing it like with like less patterns sort of thing and less tracks is more kind of logical, because you can follow along a lot easier. But all you've got to remember is well, you don't really, it's kind of intuitive. There are a couple of things that you need to be aware of. Naming of tracks, that seems to remember, it seems to like be the same. So if I change, you see, I changed this sine lead and drums, but if I change track 7 name, I don't know why this is, but if I change track 7 name to Madness, like that, and then rename that track to Madness, if I load a new song like the demo loop, see, it hasn't remembered it there. But on any of my songs, if I load in like testing 6, it's gone. It's forgotten that I named my track Madness. Load song 5. Load song 3. See, doesn't remember. But maybe it's because I didn't save it. But it's a weird thing. It's very odd. It was very odd how I had it working earlier. Maybe it was me. Could well be me, actually. So there you go. Yeah, we still work with thanks, Heinz. Yeah, we still work with euros. You still work with euros. So yeah, that's another way. Now there is obviously right. Let's run this thing as it is. We can mute like that by using mute, but we can solo as well. So let's solo the drums, and you solo the drums by going to the track header here and just holding on the track you want to solo. And a little S will appear in there. And then just long hold again to disable it. I think I pretty much covered everything, guys. Pretty much. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it. Yeah, no, it's good. But don't forget, I've got like another. Well, let's quickly. Let's set up another thing. So we've got 2 patterns here. Let's run to our second pattern. This is DigiSticks and Lagrange. Let's change the sound. Let's add another synth. Let's add Synth Master 1. Synth Master 1. Synth Master 1. Synth Master 1 here. We'll just start by adding it. Right, it's cool. And then what we shall do immediately is go in here and say, well, I want to be sending info from DigiKeys to Synth Master 1 on channel 3. So first of all, we just go none, select channel 3, channel filter, MIDI channel 3. But we don't need to connect anything yet because I need to set something up, and I'll turn the volume down. I will pick, it'll be sore with me, because that's the sound I picked. That's the sound I've as a default. Let's copy now. Let's copy that entire pattern. So make sure I'm on 1 to 16, like I said. Copy, go to pattern 3, which is blank, and go paste. Yes, and it's going to copy my pattern from there, so it should still theoretically be the same. You cannot play well. Oh no, it's on the host, isn't it? So that's fine. And why is that not playing? That's weird. Oh, I know I can't. Right. Let me stop it via the, what's it? Let me go back to pattern. Let me go back to track 2. Pattern 2. Right. Hey? Hang on a minute. I haven't muted everything. No, nothing is muted. Right, I'm going to try it again. Nothing's muted. Okay. Let me do this. I want to go make sure I'm on 1 to 16. That's fine. I'm going to copy the pattern. Copy. Pattern copied. Go to pattern 3. And I'm going to paste the pattern. Are you sure? Yes. Brilliant. There we go. So, right now I'm going to go to track 3, which is that bell pattern. So I'm going to get a lead sound, and what's this? What's this sound? And we're on, I think, maybe do this 32-step thing. I'm going to just record a few notes in, I think. So what we in, right, it's not in, right, I'm going to play, just let me play and I can get a thing going. Oh. Okay. Now all I need to do is route Synthmaster 1 to DigiKeys, and we do that by doing that. So we've set our channel to 3 here, and now we should be able to another thing as well you have to do, I shall do this, just turn that down. For track 3, we go effects in and out, and this is important as well. MIDI out, we can turn off local synth because I don't need to hear the pattern I've just put in. So now we should be be able to hear Synthmaster 1 when we play our track. We've taken out our local synth. Guys, I've gone on for longer than an hour, more than an hour. So brilliant. Yes, you can now automate the everything in Synthmaster, I think. Guys, there you go. So there was pretty detailed. You've got an EQ. We didn't really need to cover the effects, but you can add your effects where you sort the outputs and inputs for you can have MIDI, track control, MIDI in or scale. So it's a pretty in-depth, but it's a lot of fun because it's, you know what I mean? It's a lot of fun. Transpose is super simple, especially when you're in song mode, but you can also do it in thingy. Randomize is cool. You've got a lot of randomize options here. You can randomize with low complexity, medium, high complexity, randomize options, probability, subbeats, reverse, length, notes, velocity. You can select all of them if you want, or deselect some of them. You can take out notes that you don't want to randomize. You can rotate the randomization. You can rotate it left or right. You can select the chords in the notes. If you've got the What's It, you can select all notes. You've got tons and tons and tons of creative control if you want to dig in and go mad. Has this been released? Yeah. No. Yes, it has. Yeah, of course it has. Yeah. There's a link in the description below the video that you're watching. You can click on it. I think it's $8.99. I think that's a really good price as well. Guys, thank you very, very much for watching. Thanks, Paul, for joining us. I think that went pretty well, to be fair. Usually our 4Pockets videos, something always goes wrong. It's not pilot error. Usually my fault, you know what I mean? Anyway. Top job, cool beans. Listen, guys, I'm going to give you a chance to say thank you, everybody, for joining me this evening. Thank you, guys, for super chatting me in as well. It really is massive for us at the moment, you know what I mean? So bless you all. Top job, cool beans. I will see you all very, very, very soon. I hope you enjoyed that. It's a blast. But that was it, playing DigiSticks. And all you've got to do is make sure that your MIDI channels are set to correspond to the tracks. It's pretty straightforward, really, in AUM anyway. Anyway, thank you, guys. I'll see you later. I'm going to turn the microphone off now and start to shut all this down. I'll let you say ta-ra to each other, and I'll see you later. Ta-ta. I will say while I'm still here, did I shock you all? There will be no music night tomorrow. I don't know if I'll stream tomorrow. It depends. But if I do, it won't be a music night because we haven't got anything to play at the moment. So, but soon we will have. All right, guys. Anyway, if not, but I might be here tomorrow night, but I honestly don't know. So I'll see you guys as soon as possible. And thank you again.